So recently I tested a game that claims to teach you kanji. How this works is like making bento and ordering sushi. You pick a set of kanji to learn and some words that use that kanji. From there, you learn how it's written, how it's pronounced in a certain word. The kanji are sorted through difficulty levels and words can be filtered by JLPT levels, parts of speech, and more. It basically takes apps like Wanikani and Anki and focuses more on learning vocabulary and where that kanji can appear. While it can be argued that learning kanji through its usage in whole words makes more sense than memorizing all the different pronunciations before learning vocabulary, the way the game is structured doesn't really help with learning how a kanji is pronounced to begin with. In Wanikani, radicals are learned first, then the kanji that use those radicals, and then a few vocabulary. When you're learning the kanji, you're given a guide of all the pronunciations, but they do make it a point to say that some are more common than others, so focus on those first. Likewise, the vocabulary you are given first will use those common pronunciations as appropriate for that JLPT level being taught. As you progress, they introduce less common pronunciations at higher levels and give explanations for its usage. It's a stepwise process that works very well, and especially with repeated testing at timed intervals. That doesn't really happen with kanji cats. You pick your kanji and vocabulary and are basically thrown to the cats. Depending on the vocabulary you pick, you might get several pronunciations for the same kanji that might seem random for anyone with no knowledge of kanji whatsoever. When you learn the stroke order for kanji, the pronunciation of the word does get played and is accompanied by furigana. However, as someone going through the lesson, my focus wasn't really on the pronunciation, but how to write it out. Your mileage may vary how useful it is if your goal is only to be able to read it and not write it. On top of that, when sorting through the vocabulary, it was difficult to find just the kanji by itself to learn its base meaning before being used in combination with other kanji. When you get to the multiple choice kanji section, it does do a good job of making sure you learn to differentiate between similar looking kanji. However, the focus there becomes recognition and not necessarily how to read it. When you get to the reading portion where you have to match the hiragana to the kanji, the focus does become how to read it. But if you didn't take notes before, it can be a chore to figure out which pronunciation is correct. It doesn't help that the words disappear after picking the correct answer even in infinite mode. At least by the time you feel like doing the conveyor belt mode, you probably have a decent grasp on how some words are read. Overall, who is this for? As of the demo build, the game seems to be geared mostly towards those who already know some kanji and would like to brush up on some vocabulary, or learners who work well doing things at their own pace. If you have no background in learning Japanese or would like a more structured learning experience, this is probably not for you. Personally, I like to see a dictionary of pronunciations for each kanji because while there are no rules when they get used, there is a pattern depending on the usage of that particular kanji in a word. It's just helpful as a reference. Sorting to find base kanji and their meanings would also help with self-directed learning. If the game somehow has a true teaching mode for beginners, I would expect it to take things step by step in order to help them learn kanji more efficiently. That's probably not the focus of this game, but it is something to consider. Anyway, I hope that helps you all. What are your thoughts? If you want to check it out, the Steam page is listed in the description, and hopefully a public demo will come soon. Until then, see y'all next time.